So we're now looking at the third book in the Bible, the Book of Leviticus. In the Book of Leviticus, God is outlining, detailing, instructing about the laws that have to be applied and have to be kept by the people of Israel. And there are many, many laws in the Book of Leviticus. They were applicable at the time, but most of them wouldn't be applied today. One of the main laws, which is detailed, is one of burnt offerings to be given to God. In a burnt offering, an animal would be sacrificed and the animal would be totally consumed in fire. And this was a way of the Israelites saying sorry to God for any sin they had made, and that they were surrendering themselves completely to God and wanted to get back, have a right relationship with God after being disobedient to him. That sacrificial offerings of animals had to be done in a certain way. God was very precise about it and wrote all the details in the Book of Leviticus. There were other offerings as well. Some were grain offerings, peace offerings. There's different offerings that were given to God. Here we can see the sacrificial animal, the burning the animals, this offering. As well as all the laws that God commanded in Leviticus, he also talks about the priests that are going to be appointed. Now, I did look at the priests that were appointed by Moses in video 22 about the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant. So what I said in that video, if you go back to that, you'll see the fuller description. But I'll just comment here again in Leviticus, where Moses appoints his brother Aaron as the priest, who from the tribe of Levi is appointed the priest to see over everything that is to do with the tabernacle. So him, Aaron, and his 4 sons are the priests, and they are the only priests from the tribe of Levi who look after the tabernacle, a bit like a caretaker of the tabernacle, making sure everything in the tabernacle runs smoothly. And you'll see in video 22 how there were particular garments that Aaron and his sons had to wear that identified them as the priests of the tabernacle. They actually are the only tribe in the Bible who don't inherit any land because they're looking after the tabernacle. So all the details are in video 22 about Aaron and his sons becoming priests and what they wore. Here we see Aaron's sons getting measured up for the garments that they are going to wear as priests of the tabernacle. Although I've said there's just lots and lots of rules that God lays down for the people of Israel, there are 1 or 2 stories that are significant in the Book of Leviticus. And let's look at the first one. This is a story of Nadab and Abihu. Now, Nadab and Abihu are 2 of the sons of Aaron, 2 of the priests of the tabernacle. Now, God had laid down, as I've said, specific instructions on how things had to be done. If a sacrifice was being made, it was particular wood, particular animals, the way the fire was made, all specific details were laid down. Now, one day, Nadab and Abihu came along and didn't quite do as God asked. These two decided one day to take censers, those are some containers, and put in them some incense, which would be a substance that once you lit it, it had an aroma to it. This incense was lit with fire, but it wasn't fire that had been used and made in the particular way God would ask, commanded from the altar. It was what was called unauthorized fire. God never asked for this. God was very angry that they hadn't kept to the strict rules. In his anger, God came out and consumed them with fire. They died. Two men from the tribe of Levi came and carried them away. This was a severe warning, the consequences of not doing as God asked. To be a holy people, you have to act holy, for God is holy. And I'll just point out one more interesting story in the book of Leviticus, and it's to do with the law of blasphemy, if you blaspheme God. To blaspheme God is to show total disrespect for him, contempt of his name, talk of him in a way that is not reverent and worshipping towards him. A man came amongst the Israeli people and did just that, blaspheming God. And the penalty for blaspheming God? He was stoned to death. So the punishment for blaspheming God at that time was to be stoned to death. Again, I'll just say that a lot of these laws that were then upheld, you won't find in today's society. You wouldn't find this in the Christian world. We don't give, as if you are a believer in Jesus, we don't do animal sacrifices. It's not needed because Jesus was the sacrifice on the cross. And there's no stoning of people, putting them to death if they blaspheme God, although it is a very serious thing to do and will have its consequences. Please like, follow and subscribe if you're enjoying the channel. If you're new to the channel, please look at my playlist in the link in the description and go through them in order if you wish. That would make it easier for you to understand the history of the stories in the Bible. Bye for now.